What if right now, this very moment, the words you were hearing were the final key to pulling your own life or the life of someone you love most back from the brink of death? What if the next few minutes gave you the power to stop a silent killer before it even strikes? Because this isn't about a common illness. This is about a stealth assassin, an invisible hunter that moves without a sound, that strikes without warning, and in mere seconds can turn a vibrant, independent existence into a landscape of devastating ruin. We're talking about a health catastrophe that doesn't just take lives. It can leave those who survive trapped in a daily battle that feels like a living death. Yes, today we are pulling back the curtain on the silent epidemic of brain stroke. This conversation isn't just a list of facts or a dry medical lecture. This is an urgent alarm bell. This is a real-world survival manual designed to multiply your level of awareness starting right now. Information that could mean the difference between a full recovery and a permanent tragedy. We all know the devastating toll of heart disease, a leading cause of death worldwide. But lurking right behind it, often in the shadows, is its equally deadly counterpart, stroke. This attack targets the very command center of your being, your brain. This 3-pound organ governs everything: your ability to think, to speak, to move, to remember, to feel joy and love. It holds the essence of who you are. When stroke hits this core, the consequences are often catastrophic and irreversible. Too many people do not survive the initial assault. A significant number pass within the first critical day. And for those who do survive, an entirely different life begins. A life where lifting a spoon to your mouth becomes a monumental task, where forming a simple sentence feels like wading through thick mud, where taking a single step alone is a distant memory. This new reality often means becoming partially or completely dependent on others, each day a marathon of frustration, therapy, and heartbreaking challenge. But the tremor of this disaster doesn't just stop with the patient, it radiates outward, crushing families under the weight of emotional trauma, physical exhaustion, and often crippling financial strain, a burden many carry for a lifetime. Here is the most terrifying truth of all. The brain often tries to whisper warnings long before the final blow. Your body sends out subtle distress signals, but we misinterpret them, dismiss them as stress or aging, or simply ignore them. And it is in that moment of dismissal that the stage is set for total collapse. My goal today is not to scare you without cause. It is to arm you, to equip you with the life-saving knowledge of these signals so you can recognize them, whether in yourself or in someone right in front of you. Because when a stroke strikes, time is not just money, it is brain cells, it is function, it is life itself. Every minute of delay can mean permanent damage. Listen closely, because what follows could one day form the foundation of the most critical decision you will ever make. Let's journey deeper into the world of these subtle yet horrifying early warnings. Your body begins a quiet campaign of alerts long before the crisis, but they are so gradual that most people write them off as fatigue, normal aging, or a passing bug. You must understand, a stroke is rarely a true bolt from the blue. It is most often the final, explosive result of a destructive process that has been building for years, even decades. And at the heart of this process, two major culprits are often at work: the slow buildup of excess cholesterol and triglycerides in your blood, and the relentless, silent pressure of high blood pressure. Imagine your blood vessels as pristine, flexible, clean pipes. Life-giving blood, rich with oxygen, flows freely to every microscopic cell in your brain, fueling your every thought and action. The trouble starts silently, when fatty substances in your blood begin to settle onto the inner walls of these pipes. At first, it's just a thin film. You'd never feel it. Over years, this film, called plaque, grows thicker, narrowing the passageway. The pipe becomes stiff and clogged. Your heart now must work harder to push blood through these narrowed tunnels, creating immense pressure. This is a ticking bomb inside your skull. Now, imagine two disaster scenarios. In the first, a piece of that unstable plaque finally ruptures or breaks off. It travels upward until it lodges in a critical artery feeding the brain, causing a sudden, complete blockage. Blood flow stops. Within minutes, brain cells in that territory begin to suffocate and die. This is an ischemic stroke, the most common type. In the second, even more violent scenario, a weakened blood vessel inside the brain, hardened and damaged by years of uncontrolled high blood pressure, simply bursts under the strain. Blood torrents out into the delicate brain tissue itself, crushing and drowning the cells around it. This is a hemorrhagic stroke, often more immediately severe. As noted by renowned neurologists like Dr. Michael Reynolds at Johns Hopkins Hospital, it's frequently the devastating endpoint of hypertension that has been ignored for far too long. The critical point is this: before either of these explosions happen, your body sends out flares. The first might be a sudden, bizarre change in vision. It's not just blurriness. You might see double for a few moments, or a black curtain might descend over one eye, as if a shade was pulled down, only to lift a minute later. This is a terrifying sign that the visual processing centers of your brain are experiencing a temporary blood shortage. Another early whisper is a profound, unexplained fatigue that's different from ordinary tiredness. It's a deep, bone-weary exhaustion where even simple tasks feel overwhelming. A possible sign your brain is rationing its energy due to compromised flow. You might experience strange sleep changes, sleeping 10 hours but waking feeling drugged, or being hit with irresistible daytime drowsiness. These are not signs of laziness, they are neurological distress signals. Other warnings include peculiar sensations, a sudden numbness, a persistent pins and needles feeling, or a shocking electric-like zing in an arm or leg, often on one side. Even a change in your headache pattern, a new, more severe or thunderclap headache, especially if you have high blood pressure, is a red flag you cannot afford to ignore. So, what do you do if you see these signs erupt suddenly in someone? You must act with lightning speed. Remember the vital, life-saving acronym BFAST. It stands for balance, eyes, face, arms, speech, and time. Check for a sudden loss of balance. Is the person dizzy, stumbling, unable to stand steady? Look at their eyes. Ask if they have double vision or loss of sight. Examine their face. Ask them to smile. Is one side drooping or not moving? Test their arms. Ask them to raise both arms. Does one drift downward or cannot be lifted? Listen to their speech. Is it slurred, strange, or confused? And the final, most critical letter, T for time. If you see any of these signs, you call 911 immediately. Do not drive them yourself unless absolutely no ambulance is available. Do not wait to see if it gets better. Do not call a primary care doctor first. Get them to a hospital with a certified stroke center. When you call 911, tell the operator you suspect a stroke. This alerts the paramedics to begin critical assessments en route. And if possible, note the exact time the symptoms first began. This time of onset is perhaps the single most important piece of information for the emergency room doctors, as it determines what life-saving treatments, like clot-busting drugs or surgical interventions, are safe and possible. If today's discussion has made you more alert, if you have internalized these signals, then you have just become powerfully equipped. You could be the person who stops a catastrophe in its tracks. You could be the hero who recognizes the whispers of a stroke in a loved one and gets them the help that saves their mind, their independence, and their life. Your health is your greatest wealth, and your most powerful shield is knowledge. Please share this information with your family, your friends, your neighbors. You never know whose life this knowledge might one day save. From all of us here at the Senior Wellness Hive, thank you for watching. Stay healthy, stay vigilant, and stay safe.